Okay. Hi, everyone. We are live. Thank you for joining us. Apologies for being a few minutes late. We just had a couple of technical things we wanted to work out ahead of time so that we could be here for you all. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to find us quickly on Jeff Together, where we'll be streaming to. And then for those of you who are joining us over on the Cipla side, welcome to you as well. Please make sure to swipe in. Annalie, we say at Jeff, we say swipe in, which is like swiping into the gym. So we're saying swipe in by commenting and saying hi. So let me quickly see who's joining us so that we can say hi to a couple of people. So yeah. So Annalie, where are you based? We didn't actually get to ask that.
Hi, I am based in Cape Town.
And Cape Town as well. Which the northern, southern, which part are you?
I'm in Finland, so we don't really know if it's northern or some sort of central.
I agree. I normally don't know. I'm in the deep south, so I feel like we are in the south. Hi, Pat. Nice to see you. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Leslie. Charmaine is there with us as well. Hi, Yvonne. Keep swiping in, everyone. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to be over on the Jeff Together side for comments. So please feel free to, as we chat today, post your comments on that side so that we can chat and have a conversation. All right. So Annalie, while I'm doing that, would you mind giving us a quick little intro into who you are and why we're chatting to you specifically today?
Okay, thank you. So I'm a dietitian. I'm a registered dietitian, and I've been working in the field for many, many years. And actually, my interest at the moment is something called functional nutrition, where you more look at systems biology rather than just, sort of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
Yeah.
So we look more broadly at how nutrients impact systems. And I've also got a special interest in nutrigenomics, which is how genes interact, how our genes are important for. Also, we talk about nutrigenomics, nutrient switches genes on and off. So that's my background, and I've been doing some of these talks now and then for Cipla around nutrients.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, because that's going to be very appropriate and apt. And I just wanted to say hi to Liesel quickly. Karen Shax is there. Hi, Auntie Iva is there as well. And Marsha. Guys, thank you for joining us. So if you're just joining us, we're talking to Annalie Smith, and we're talking specifically around magnesium and the benefits that we can get from magnesium. So why don't we just go into it straight away? How can magnesium benefit us in our general well-being?
So magnesium is one of those nutrients that I think a lot of people just throw in. So it's like, what should I get? I'm sure I need magnesium. And the reason is because magnesium has got so many functions in the body. Maybe just to give you a little bit of an overview. So magnesium is an essential mineral. And if it's essential, it means obviously it's not made in your body. So you have to get it from your environment. Mm-hmm. And if you have a deficiency, it can cause problems. So what magnesium will do generally is it attaches to an enzyme. And an enzyme in our body is something that's a substance, of a catalyst that creates all sorts of chemical reactions in our body. And it's a very important cofactor of some of these enzymes. So cofactor means it's like a spark plug that activates these enzymes so that they can do their job. And some of the main things that's important would be, for instance, magnesium is important for an enzyme that breaks down stress hormones. So if you have a lot of stress, you generally actually need more magnesium to break these stress hormones down. It's also important as in some cells, it attaches to certain chemical processes, so that it helps impulse control. And that's why we also think about muscle contraction. And it's not just the muscles you use when you work out. Well, I guess your muscles, that you're contracting, but also the things like your heart muscle that has to contract all the time. All the muscles, not just the things we don't always think about that has to work in the background. So they also need magnesium. And it also has some structural functions. So for instance, bone and muscle and all those need magnesium to be healthy.
Fantastic. And so as a coach at Jeff, well, first as a client, and then as a coach, I discovered the benefits of magnesium for sports recovery as well. and how beneficial it is, especially when you haven't worked out for a while and then, starting up with it and stiffness and soreness. So how does magnesium help us in our sports recovery, and how does it function? And why is it so important as well that we have it?
Yes, so I guess it's because magnesium is really important for energy production. So if you've been working out, so your body sort of, some people adapt to exercise easier than others. Maybe just go back a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and that's quite genetic, by the way. So if you, some of us recover quite easily and others don't.
Okay.
But wherever we are, if we are starting up and we haven't been exercising a lot, or if we're more like a weekend warrior,
Yeah. I like that.
Weekend warriors, that you're like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, I've got something coming up. I need to quickly do all my training this weekend. So so then your body is really sometimes has to adapt to all these things.
Yeah.
And because we're using magnesium for energy production, for muscle contraction, and so on, it's important that we get enough of that, because obviously we're going to be using more of it when we train. Not to say that we now use up more when we're untrained. It's just sometimes our body tend to adapt, and when we have had a heavy load, we also quite inflamed sometimes, and magnesium is one of those that plays a role to help us feel better the next day so we can carry on with our lives.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's like I was saying, as a coach, we recommend it for people all the time for recovery. And especially...
So you're not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you. That's awesome. And then I know this one for a fact, the next element as well. Excuse the pun. This next, during pregnancy, pregnant women are advised to take magnesium, and there's so many benefits during pregnancy. So I thought maybe you could speak a little bit about why that's beneficial as well, and how it helps in your pregnancy.
Well, you do obviously need more of all nutrients when you're pregnant, because you're growing this baby. But specifically with pregnancy, there's quite a lot of changes in bone health and muscle health, and also the development of the fetus. And we specifically think of some minerals where your main ones are things like calcium, magnesium, that you obviously need more of. And in pregnancy, again, because your energy production and everything increases so much, it's really important that you have enough magnesium. And remember also, in terms of I guess sleep. So that's one of the things we know during pregnancy, especially in your towards your third trimester, sleep becomes a really big problem. And often it's because there's a bit of a magnesium deficiency. We don't really know, chicken or egg, but magnesium we know is really good for sleep. And there's a reason for it, because magnesium is also a nutrient that's important for the neurochemicals that helps to balance those things that help us sleep. So there's certain things. I remember reading up about sleep once, and all the process that has to happen to sleep, and I always thought, I don't know how we actually sleep because it's so complicated. But magnesium is a main nutrient, so that's also really important during pregnancy. And like I said, for because it's one of those main nutrients.
Yeah, that's amazing. And does it help? Is it an urban legend, or is it a myth that it helps with cramps as well? Because I know that when I was pregnant, I had insane cramps where my calf muscle would tighten up like a tennis ball in the middle of the night. And my doctor advised taking some magnesium and potassium to help with that.
Exactly. So that's probably one of the signs. So some of the things we think about, how do you know you've got a magnesium deficiency? And cramping is definitely one of them.
Wow. Okay.
We know if you speak to a lot of pregnant women, they will tell you about those cramps they wake up with in the middle of the night. And then that's a sure sign that there's some magnesium deficiency. And it's really just because your demand is higher.
Yeah.
Maybe you have the wrong cravings and you're not craving the food.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. And then, so then cramping in exercise for athletes and training as well, would that also benefit you?
Yeah, so it's not the only, sorry, I just have a message coming.
No worries. Oopsie daisy. I think we lost her. She'll probably come right back. But guys, thank you for those of you who are here with us so long. Please make sure that you swipe in, say hi, leave your questions there for us so that we can answer and get the answers as well. But yeah, I was very excited to get to chat to Annalie today, especially around this topic, because one of the questions that I'll ask her just now when she gets back.
Sorry.
Nice to see you again. No worries. It happens, Annalie. Do not worry. We have seen it all. Do not worry. So yeah, so you were answering about the cramping when you're training, and magnesium for that. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so obviously it's not the only reason you cramp. It's not always magnesium, but it's often a go-to, and I don't think you can go wrong. I think it's important to know that you can overdose on magnesium. That's maybe something I just need to mention. Magnesium, like all other minerals, do interact with other nutrients. So magnesium interacts with zinc. So if you have if you take to one and not the other, then it can be important. So just remember that. And calcium as well. So calcium, magnesium antagonize each other. So just to remember, you have to normally have about a 2-to-1 ratio of calcium magnesium, but you can also get it from food. But just to get back to the cramping, so magnesium is something you can try if you find that you're cramping. And I even sometimes advise that people sort of just when they're going to be training for a big event, that they definitely start taking some magnesium at night. So at night is better because it also helps you sleep. So start taking some magnesium at night. And also even gastric cramping. So if you have, when you're nervous and you have some cramps, like people with irritable bowel syndrome, sometimes magnesium is also helping to soothe that cramping.
Fascinating. Actually, it's really fascinating. That really helps, because that's something that a lot of people just live with, the discomfort, and don't actually know how to handle that. So that's great.
Yes.
But I want to
remember, if you're overdosing on magnesium, you might get a runny tummy. So just be careful that you don't think more is better. No.
No. Yeah. No,
so if you take maybe also we normally need about 250 to 350 milligrams of magnesium a day. Of course, we do get some from our food. So it's important to just know that sometimes we want to be a little bit constipated, and then you can actually overdose on it. That's also something I often do when people struggle like that. That we take some extra magnesium, it also helps for that. But just be careful that you don't take too much and wonder why you've got a runny tummy.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. Thank you. And then I want to double click quickly. You said something about the ratio with magnesium and calcium. What is that again?
2-to-1. So normally, if you one of the biggest reasons people often have when they're supplementing have a magnesium deficiency is because maybe they're taking quite a high calcium. Something that's quite high in calcium and doesn't have a lot of magnesium. So if you are taking something that contains calcium or like some sort of calcium supplement, then make sure you check how much magnesium. So you might say have a supplement that gives you 500 milligrams of calcium, but only 40 milligrams of magnesium. Then it's important to try and then supplement with something else so that you have about a 2-to-1 ratio.
Okay, great. So they counteract each other a little bit. So you need to have that.
Yeah, they like a bit of a seesaw relationship.
Okay, gotcha. Is it 2 magnesium or 2 calcium?
2 calcium. 2-to-1 calcium. So if you have 500 calcium, 250 magnesium.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. That's a great tip. Awesome. Now, there's something that I wanted to ask you that mystifies me about magnesium. So it helps you with sleep and muscle recovery, yet it gives you energy. How does that work?
How does it work?
How's that possible? How can you have energy and at the same time sleep well?
I see. I guess it's because, it's not that the nutrient has an action by itself. So the nutrient attaches to certain other substances so that they can do their function. So, so like I said earlier, so to sleep well, there are certain neurochemicals that need to be in place, so they have to do their job so that we can calm down and sleep. So magnesium actually got a calming effect because it attaches to some of the neurochemicals that helps us sleep. So if you have a deficiency of magnesium, then that can't happen. So it can't do its job really as that. And then in terms of, but then it also has other functions. So it can also then help in the mitochondria in the cell where we produce energy. It attaches to certain processes so that we can produce the energy. And then in another place, it will go and help, like I said, with muscle contraction. So the mineral has a lot of functions, and that is why it can do so many things.
That's amazing. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I hope that's you understand what I'm trying to say. So
Yes,
it's
yeah, no, it's
not the
fascinating.
mineral itself, it's how it attaches to certain
Right.
processes in their body that
Yes.
helps them for
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating because because like you said, take it at nighttime. And then I was a little bit nervous about taking it at nighttime, considering that it is also known to give you energy, but it makes sense. It depends on the process at the time of the day. And obviously absorption is probably better when you're sleeping. So then that's why
yes.
it helps you at nighttime. Okay, fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you. That's
yes,
great.
good idea.
Now I know. And now we all know.
So nutrients don't, that's actually what maybe is a misunderstanding. I know, remember at school we used to know, vitamin B is good for this and magnesium is good for that. And you always used to have this idea that it's the nutrient itself that just goes and does its job. But it's actually how it activates certain systems and certain enzymes and also certain genes, like I said, which then does its job.
Yes, yeah, and it's a natural element, so it makes sense that it would be part of cell process as well. And obviously, the mitochondria is part of brain processing for sleep as well, so it makes sense that it goes both ways. So yeah, okay, that's fantastic. All right, so Hetty asked the question, and you did say it, so maybe we can just repeat it quickly. What is the recommended dosage again for magnesium per day?
So I normally stick to around 250 milligrams per day for adults. You can go up to about 350. Sometimes you can go up to 500 if, like I said, you need some extra. But normally around 250 milligrams a day.
Okay, fantastic. There you go, Hetty.
Children, just so you know, for children, we would normally, children would be then but maybe between 6 and 12. Infants is a different story, but for children, it's about 130 milligrams.
Awesome. Okay, so this Jeff Ed is sponsored by Cipla. And so I wanted to see if we could talk a little bit about Mag Up and why this is a great product for people to try and to use.
So there are so many magnesium products on the market, and sometimes we want to, so magnesium, because again, a mineral is not, it doesn't just, we don't take it by itself. It's attached to some protein or something to absorb. And so Mag Up is in a form that's very well absorbed. Okay, and it's also not such a low dose that you need to, you have it there. Actually, you can maybe show it.
Yes.
Okay. So it's
I
actually
take it myself. I'm not, this is not advertising. I actually take it myself because I think it's such a great product. And absorption, like you said, I feel like I've actually gotten more benefits from this than some of the other products I've used in the past. And I think, you continue on, but I think it's sometimes the ingredients that is added in with magnesium that our bodies react with. And I think
and also because you need quite a bit of magnesium, sometimes if it's thrown in with other nutrients in another product, also it's just not enough to do its job. So if you take it, there's obviously, like you said, lots of magnesium products out there, and with nutrients, it's not so easy to know if it's helping. I guess because there's so many other things.
It's not an isolation.
Exactly. The product that you're taking is actually absorbed properly.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, if you have any other questions for Annelie, please let us know. I'm going to just quickly check and see over on this side if anybody is commenting. But yeah, thank you so much, Annelie, for this. It's been so helpful. And in not only speaking to the Cipla side on a product that they have produced. So for those of you who are listening from the Cipla side, I'll come back and check your comments after this to see what you guys have said, and we'll make sure that we answer any of the questions on that side. But from the Jeff side, this has been very beneficial because of the industry that we're in, focusing on nutrition, balanced lifestyle. So for us, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Jeff's 4 pillars, but our main pillars are training, nutrition, mindset, and sleep. And what we've just talked about hits 3 of those. So I think it's so beneficial for people to know all the benefits and to know how to take it, and just to have this. So now another question that is unrelated to a supplement. So what foods can you eat to get more magnesium in? So that, and you've already answered this part of the question. Is there such a thing as too much magnesium? So I just want to make sure that they go back and that they listen to the rest of the Jeff Ed so they get the answer. But what kind of foods can we have that are going to be wholesome and help us with magnesium?
So the best sources for magnesium are actually nuts. So
Okay.
If you eat maybe just a handful of cashew nuts, for instance, it will give you about 100 milligrams or so magnesium.
Great.
All your nuts, Brazil nuts, cashew nuts, pistachios, they all contain magnesium. Also seeds like pumpkin seeds contains quite a bit. And then in terms of grains, oats contains magnesium. You need about a half a cup or so to give you about 100 milligrams as well. And rice, brown rice. So those grains, and then your things like leafy green vegetables contains, and as well as legumes. So always think of greens and beans. So legumes, greens, and then think of nuts as part of your sort of, it's not really part of the legume family always, but it looks a little bit like that. So those are your best sources. And of course, depending on how much time you get to eat and how you are, how your diet is, that's maybe something that you're not always getting enough of.
Well, then there you go. So this is a follow-up question from Greg. He asked, he said, I was under the impression that there's enough magnesium in a balanced diet. Is this true? And there we go. So in your opinion, from the nutritional side, we know that it depends on the ingredients you're using. And also you mentioned it before, genetics. So from your side, what would you say to Greg on that one?
Yeah, so that is quite, so I think that's the age-old debate is, I'm trying just to move the right direction. Age-old debate is, if you have a balanced diet, you have enough. And definitely you can. We always put food first. That's why I'm a dietitian. I'm not just giving you tablets. So we always put food first. But there are times when you need more. So the main thing I often think about is if you have any inflammation in your gut, so any sort of inflammatory type conditions, autoimmune type conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, you definitely we know that people with that will often have low magnesium. Any kidney problems also, you would have more. So those are illnesses that you would need more. And then, like you said earlier, sort of sometimes from a genetic point of view, you have enzymes that maybe function a bit slower, and in those times you actually need more magnesium. You can, by the way, do a blood test to find out if you have got a deficiency. So that is something that you can do. But of course, a blood test is a bit of a snapshot. So that's why we think about deficiency symptoms like cramping, low energy, as well as problems around sleep.
Okay, fantastic. And then you mentioned autoimmune diseases like celiac and Crohn's disease. Did you say Crohn's disease?
Crohn's disease.
So Julie Ann said here that it's also beneficial for the stiffness that comes with autoimmune diseases, magnesium. And then I'm just going to read some of the other questions. So, okay, so Pat Governor asked, when are you supposed to take it, in the morning or in the evening? And you recommend it in the evening.
You can take it. It's not that you can't. You can take it sometimes, especially if I increase my dose, I would even do morning and evening.
Okay.
So I would also sometimes recommend that, but it is said that it's better absorbed at night.
Awesome. And then we've already answered these questions about the foods. There we go. Everyone's asking about the food. There we go. Yep. Benefits of magnesium all around. Okay. So there's questions about product comparison. I'll definitely get you guys that answer. And then Avo almonds, dark chocolate with 70% cacao or higher is one of the recommendations. Dr.
Yes, that's true.
Annalie, you
always need an excuse to eat chocolate. So
listen, let me tell you, I would not have stuck with Jeff if chocolate was not allowed. Like, I can just say that on the record.
Yes, no, that is true. It is a good source of magnesium.
Oh, fantastic. Well, there you go. Like my mother-in-law said, my dietitian said, I must have dark chocolate. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Annalie. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for all of this. And thank you to all of you guys for participating and giving us questions and feedback. Love it. And I will definitely come back into the comments and interact with you guys. Annalie, will you let us know when they can reach you if they want to chat to you some more?
Yes,
or if they want to get in contact?
Definitely, sure.
Great. Let me know so I can put that in the comments for them as well. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us today. And yeah, thank you so much, Annalie, and everyone over on Cipla. Thank you guys. We will see you next time. Have a great day.
Thanks for the chat.